where the human spirit merges with technology and the two dance together in a way that creates new types of magic. And to look at technology as artificial is odd because we created it. So it's natural. I'm natural. We humans are natural. Humans built AI. Therefore AI is natural. Everything so I think it's new to a degree that we don't know how to acknowledge it and bring it into our souls yet. You know? And do I think it can do mass destruction? Fuck yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
But it could also, anything that can, just like a nuclear bomb, you can drop it on a city or you can power a city with it. AI, I think, is same
thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And it'll probably do both. It's probably already doing both. Actually, I know it is. It's already doing evil shit.
Yes.
But it's probably doing a lot. It's probably solving some cures for cancer as we speak.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
We will see.
Shit's about to go down. I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats and Tatts with Aaron Della Vedova.
Hello, friends, lovers of creative spirits, art, and joy. I'm back, and I'm doing one of my favorite things today. As you know, I love having creatives on the show, probably because I am one. I am an artist, but I also love it because every life journey can test you, but I really feel there's a special test. You know, if you want to tell the world or the universe, I'm going to do what my heart sings out, and I'm going to monetize that and somehow pay my rent. That's doesn't work out for a lot of people. So, you know, the man I have on today, it did work out for him, and I think that's a big highlight of what he had to go through to make it to that point, and what he's still going through to back out of maybe how he got there. So that's a little bit ambiguous, but I think we can clarify a lot of that here in a minute. But this guy is an artist. He's a painter. He is a tattooer. He's also an athlete, you know, played some semi-pro basketball, which is a big part of his life. And there's all kinds of little rabbit holes in there. So with all that being said, please welcome my guest today, Anthony Michaels.
Thank you, brother.
Crowd cheers.
That's funny. I was picturing that. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Very, very, very much.
Let me give them some history. So
please, yeah.
We don't know the exact year. Who cares? Roughly 6-ish years ago. I didn't mention this. Anthony went on Ink Masters season 7, and he won the damn thing, which is its own little mini miracle. Because, well, we can get into that in a minute. But I mean, there's a bit of a crapshoot there. You could be the most talented guy in the world, still maybe not win it. You got to have a little luck and a little bit of, you got to have both.
Absolutely.
And you'll tell us more about that. But right after that, he was coming off the heels of that show, you know, doing a little bit of a tour around, and he ended up here doing a guest spot. That's when we met.
Yes, sir.
And that's when our friendship began. And then since then, we're going to learn more about what you've been up to since then. But that's the beginning of our story, was you doing that show, winning it, and coming here.
Yes, sir.
So maybe before we get there, because that's kind of now, I did want to touch a little bit on just how'd you become an artist? Let's just start there. I mean, I think we're all artists.
All of us.
There you go.
Thank you for saying that.
We're little creative beings. You show me a baby or a little 2-year-old that doesn't want to play with crayons, right?
Absolutely.
So we're all artists, but I do think there's a pivot point where most people who continue to be artists can tell you about that moment, whether it was a mother that supported them or a teacher or they themselves just decided it. Or what was your story when you started identifying as I think I'm an artist. I think that's what I'm good at.
You know, art started for me as a child. I had trouble speaking, and I was able to show up, even though not verbally. I was able to show up through art, and my family learned that very quick. From what I remember, honestly, whenever I'd get in trouble, I would be placed in an area of the house to draw. I'm literally, as you were leading up to this question, I, for the first time, got that download.
That's cool.
So I've always remembered drawing as a child. But when it became, I'm just going to say, for lack of a better term right now, when I was aware of it, when I was conscious of damn, this is what I'm doing. I can't recall the exact age, but I remember being very young, having a speech impediment, and I would draw. I would get into shit. I would get in trouble, and I would have to sit down and draw. you know, until my energy had changed. I mean, elementary school, before that, it had to be before that. My mom still has scraps of stuff that I was doing, you know, when I was younger. So it started very young, and I would just draw from life. I would just draw whatever I would see. And I do remember as I would get older, I would hate going to that area. I want to fucking draw. I want to fucking be out there. You know what I mean?
Play.
And I really started to, I do everything I can to get out of it. And I just remember my tia telling me, just draw whatever you see, draw whatever you see. So I'd see my cousin in the kitchen cooking, and I would draw that. I'd go out, because one of my chores was manning the rose bushes. So I'd sit out there before I would, or after I would take care of them all, and I would just draw them. I would draw the cars. I would draw the houses in the neighborhood. And it took off from there. You know?
Cool.
So,
That's
yeah.
cool. Similar story for me. Yeah, I would get in trouble, and they put me in my room, and I would draw. In fact, I got so in that routine that I remember a couple times my dad taking away my drawing material, because he's like, this is supposed to be a punishment. He doesn't even feel like, it doesn't seem like he cares. Like,
Yeah.
like, go to your room and, oh, that's cool with me.
Cool.
I'll just
All
go
right.
draw for a few
Later.
hours.
Yeah.
Man. I'm having fun, put on my music.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a story. I've had a few tattooers and artists on here, and you hear that a lot. Like, yeah, you get grounded, and I just would draw.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then of course, I'm assuming there's some moments of good boy. Look what Anthony did, everybody, and you're like,
well, yeah,
oh my goodness,
Yeah.
this is okay.
Absolutely.
More of this.
absolutely.
This is how I get love. This is how I get acceptance.
Performing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Which is a great way to start, but you don't want to have that energy with you when you're a fully developed artist.
No.
It should start coming from a different place than maybe
A happy place.
looking for a pat on the back from everyone around you. You know?
Man, I definitely got to that point.
Yeah.
I definitely got to that point.
Where art is more, hey, I'm just going to do me. And if someone pats me on the back, great. And if they don't, that's not what it was about.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'm trying to be. I'm trying to get back to that.
We all are, dude.
Yeah.
That's life on this planet. You're born completely enlightened. You get lost, and then you try to find that little kid again.
Fuck, bro.
Hey, just know that you're not the only one doing it, man. I'm doing it. We're all doing it.
Man, it feels good to know. It's afraid. It's afraid. It's hard to own that. It's hard to own that today. Even I feel like it's harder to own that today than it maybe could have been when we were younger. But man, that's exactly what it is. Trying to connect with that person again, you know, and then have the balance between the little boy and the man, because at the end of the day, that's who we have, you know, is just ourselves. So this shit's gonna get deep.
Yeah. You know, gosh, as you're speaking, I'm having flashbacks of memories as well. And one, it was a mushroom trip actually, and I'll never forget it. I must have cried for 2 hours during this trip, because I met the little boy, Aaron. He walked up to me, and it was in my mind's eye. I wasn't seeing it in the room. I wasn't having a full-blown hallucination, but really graphically and clearly, when I closed my eyes, was me talking to me. And what he was saying was, hey, why are you being so mean to me? Like, I like to play. You don't let me play anymore. You're doing your big grown-up stuff all the time. Like, do I get to play anymore? And of course I did. I would surf occasionally or do something for that little boy. But he was kind of like, you can't just abandon me, man. And I remember just being like, whoa, okay. So merging this. So I believe all those people that we were in the past, they all live inside of us as like separate little entities who all need different things. The little 5-year-old needs to play. The 10-year-old needs a girlfriend. The 20-year-old needs a soulmate, or whatever. All these needs from all these chapters of our lives, those people still live in there. And what are you giving? What opportunities are you allowing them to express themselves? Or are you just like me? Am I just going to be the 52-year-old? So every day I'm going to get up and do 52-year-old shit. That's it. No more playing, because I'm not a kid. No more whatever. No more surfing. I'm not 20 anymore. I got businesses to run. I don't know, man. I think that is where depression could come in, you know, not allowing these voices to be heard anymore. I mean, this is I'm talking kind of vaguely, because it was this comes out of for me, it was a hallucinogenic trip. But since then, I've just thought about it, So I don't know. You reminded me of that when you said that.
You're not talking vaguely, man. You're my fucking mirror right now.
I think most people can relate to that. I mean, when you got kids, you got a kid and other kids from a previous marriage. I've got kids, and we've all had that moment where the little kid is like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and shoving a toy in your face, and you're not in it, and you just are like, nah. And then you go and you do whatever it is you got to do. And then, that night you're kind of reflecting back. You're like, why did I do that? Why wouldn't I play tag for 10 fucking minutes? I had the time. You're like, what is that all about?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Old programs, man. Old programs.
Yeah, programs and fear, right?
Absolutely.
For me, it's like, why wouldn't I play tag? Well, because I got a lot to do. What if you don't get it done? Because something might break. What if something breaks? Because then I won't be successful. So really, that whole line of thought that led to you not playing tag for 10 minutes is just not trusting in the universe. Like, I've got to work or something might go wrong.
And then something else I learned that's absolutely right. All of that shit is anxiety.
Yeah, all that is wadded up and called anxiety.
Everything that we just told ourselves to protect ourselves, whether we realize it or not, is neither fucking here or there actually right now. But the opportunity to connect with our children, which is essentially connecting with the child inside of us.
Yeah.
Like, you might not have this opportunity. And guess what? In a few years, motherfucker's not even going to like you. He's going to want to hang around with his friends, and you're going to wish you guys could play tag.
Yep.
Damn. Like, I have goosebumps.
I do too. I'm talking about this. We had a brief conversation before we started the show, and we both tapped on this subject. And I'm not bringing it up because it's on your mind. It's on my mind too.
Okay.
And I have regret that I haven't done enough of that. But I'm also trying to be more gentle with myself and just be like, look, whatever. How long now, what are you going to do now? You have less time for tag because you're going to sit around and pout because you fucked up yesterday. Doesn't matter. Acknowledgement, change it now. Like, great.
Absolutely.
You've seen the problem. Next time there's an opportunity to play hide, go seek with for me, it's about to be 13-year-old, then do it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Sometimes you can't. That's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you actually have to be at work.
Yeah.
And you have to tell I can't.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times where you can.
Yeah, there's more times, absolutely more times that we can than when we can. We have a lot of opportunities.
Agreed.
Damn.
Let me ask you to get through some of this other. So now we've talked about your young man, your story of becoming an artist a little bit. How do you break into tattooing? When does that become a thing? And how does it become a thing?
7th grade, we were going around the classroom doing the whole, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then everything just turned into noise, and I'm doing exactly what I'm doing now. I was at my desk drawing. And then just like in a movie, you have kind of like that tunnel vision, and it's kind of like you hear slight murmurs and echoes, and all of a sudden the sound focuses in, and it's like Anthony, and then you're remembering what was going on. And I said, I'm going to be a tattoo artist. And a few people started laughing, just kind of like giggling. And the teacher was kind of like, I could tell she didn't want to criticize me, but it was kind of like, now in retrospect, she's probably like, what the fuck? Like, how?
That's not reasonable.
Probably that.
Right.
But then like what? What are you even saying right now? I noticed a PE teacher with a tattoo poking out from under his t-shirt one day. And so that bell rang, man, and I'm running over to him, asked him about it, and it clicked, right? Because my reasoning for wanting to be an artist when I grew up was to impact the world. I wanted to impact the world. I wanted to make a difference with my art. I loved architecture. I loved design. I loved why things looked the way they looked. I didn't want to fucking sit there and do math for another 20 years to be an architect, So I didn't know how. I just knew that I wanted to be something for the people through art. I was never into politics. I have over 350 years of government service in my family. I really thought that was going to be my route, and it wasn't. And so hearing the story of my PE teacher's experience, like it resonated with me. I can take somebody's emotions, thoughts, feelings, ideas, and physically alter their appearance for the rest of their life. That's what I'm going to do. And here we are, I had dead-end jobs in between, playing semi-professional basketball. So in the off season, I was here. I've had a job since I was 13. And I finally got to a point in about 2007-ish, 2008. I put my 2 weeks in after picking up a tattoo starter kit from Dennis Dwyer. Put the machine together, grabbed a grapefruit, tattooed my name on it, took it into work the next day, put my 2 weeks in. The following week, I was tattooing in my girlfriend's kitchen at the time. We were living together. I had about 10 people from the place I was working at that I was tattooing. Never looked back.
Never look back. Well, I got to ask you, what was there a story from the PE teacher? You asked about his tattoo, and he told you a kind of
like the process, right? So I took my idea, went to this guy, told him, we talked about what I was wanting. We looked at a few design options, and he drew up, what he was picturing from what we talked about. I loved it, and now I have it. And I was just like, fucking. At the time, I believed I could draw anything. I'm like, I can like bring people's dreams and inspirations and hopes to
memories,
like all of that. Like I can create an image out of that. Holy shit. Like, yes. Like let me help you tell your story. As I'm maturing in life and finding my purpose, let me help you heal. Mm-hmm. And then going back to where tattooing has come from, and the process of the tattoo and the ceremonial aspect and the community support, like that's my contribution. Yeah. That's my contribution to the world.
Well, I love that story, by the way. And that taps into one of my favorite questions, especially for tattoo artists, is what makes tattoo different from other art forms, And there's a lot of layers there, but I think you pretty much nailed the overarching reason it's different. All the things you said. Yeah. And in the collaboration aspect, that I get it. You could commission a painter to paint you a painting. Sure. And you would maybe, if it's the right painter, might collaborate with you. I want to have this in it and that in it. Then you go home and he brings you your painting. That's collaborative. Yeah. And even if you commissioned a sculpture or something, that's collaborative. But there's just I can't imagine how those are as collaborative as what we do with tattoo, right? Because you're collaborating with somebody's life, their physical tissue, their all those things, and tattoos often are healing, and they often do reflect deep change in their life, or deep pain, or deep healing, or all that from years of tattooing. And you're probably with me on this, but after me 30 years of tattooing, maybe 31 now, it's like that is the reward, is having been able to be a part of that with so many people. Because in the beginning, it didn't feel that way. It was just more like, this is a cool job. Man, we get to hang out with hot chicks. And it was a cool guy thing, a lot of it. Bro, I definitely loved art, but I didn't feel that intimacy in the first few years. No. But later I had a moment. I'm like, that was okay. I noticed it. And in a few years, you notice it more. And then now it's all I notice.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad you talked about that. That's what's been happening for me. And I'm interested now to see what this next chapter is going to be, right? Because there was something that was a part of my purpose that was unexpected. I forgot actually how expected it could have been, because I envisioned things when I was younger. And so to have this experience with Ink Master, and now to be in this position, that did affect my path a little bit. And now seeing that and hearing you talk about the ebbs and flows you went through, and now you're back in that connected space as to why you're tattooing. It's been a shit show personally. And where I'm at now, I have an opportunity to step back into that. And it's nice. It's really, really nice. I'm glad that I'm where I'm at now, because just even last year, being in this position, I wouldn't have been able to step up to the plate. I wouldn't have been able to accept what has happened, what's been going on, what's changed around me. And I wouldn't have been able to see what I have to do, what I was doing wrong, what I was doing right, so I can move forward properly, man. So I'm fucking lucky. I'm very lucky to be in the position I'm in.
Let me dig into that a little bit. And I don't know exactly what you're referring to. I'm assuming part of what you're referring to is the experience on Ink Masters.
Yes, sir.
A big part of it, right?
Yes,
okay. I assume that just because, when we talk about what is special about tattoo, right? And I'm not here to shit on anything, but I'm generalizing. But when you think of a show like that, it doesn't seem to really highlight that as much as this competitive spirit, right? Which is what it is. Now,
Sure.
no hate on that.
Sure.
There's room for that. I've been to
Absolutely.
conventions. I've entered my back pieces. I want the trophy.
Yeah.
It's all cool.
Yeah.
But it definitely kind of misses the point that we're talking about here. And I'm assuming that, and I'm going to let you speak here in a second, but I'm assuming having been embedded in that in such a big way and then winning, right? Because if you just went and did the show and maybe didn't win, you could go back to your regular life and maybe it wouldn't, but it probably followed you a little too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that frequency, I'll call it an energy frequency of whatever that is. That's an entertainment energy. I'm the man. It's the winning energy. It kind of is not the energy of intimately connecting with a human and helping to express their dreams or their doubts or what the things we just spoke of. So and then this leads me to that. So let's get into that because I'm very curious. I don't know a lot about the show. I don't hate on it. I'm not one of those dudes. In fact, I would probably even say it was a good thing that show exists and came around. It's been great to open the world up and not quit judging us, the tattoo guys, so hard. Like we're regular people, but like that's nice not to look
Regular
like
people.
a criminal when you walk into the PTA meeting at school,
Yeah.
So thank you, Ink Master. And I
Yeah.
also know it's provided a lot of opportunity for the people that work there, the people who've been on the show, like you that have
Ton
won
of
the show.
opportunity.
So it's beautiful in all those ways. No
Sure,
hate here.
sure.
But I don't watch it.
Yes.
Not because of hate, just because, I don't know, I'm just not interested that
Yeah.
much. And plus, I live and eat and shit and breathe tattoos.
Tattoos.
I get a night off with my wife. We're not watching Ink Master. So I don't know a lot about it. I know what it is.
Yeah.
But so I'm curious about it. I'm especially curious from you because you were in it, So let's talk about Ink Master. Logistically, emotionally, spiritually.
Let's get it.
What's the story? How does that?
First, I'd like to sincerely apologize to my therapist, one of my therapists, because he's been trying to get me to stop running from this experience. We're going to talk about it. So, where do I begin?
Well, I mean, maybe begin how'd you end up on the show? How'd that come out?
I got a phone call one day, leaving the gym, and I'm on one. Pre-workout, fucking still coursing through my veins. I'm on fire right now, right? Confident as hell. Racing home to get ready, interact with the kids before they go off to school, and then get to the shop. So I get this call, and it wasn't the executive. It was an assistant of the executive, and she introduced herself and said she was calling on behalf of Ink Master, and they've been following my work for some time, and they're interested in having me be a part of the show. I thought it was a bunch of bullshit, honestly, and I kind of chuckled a little bit, and I was like, yeah, right, whatever, right? And they were like, well, this is what's going on. This is our intention. Look up the show if you haven't seen it already. I stated I was very familiar with the show, and I had my own thoughts about the show, and so she let me sit on it for a while. The next call was the executive, and I was just like, maybe this is not bullshit. You know what I mean? And so now I was presented with an opportunity, and I had to be honest with myself. As I sat there and would watch from season 1, I would watch that show, and I was so fucking judgmental and critical of something I had no idea about, right? How do you have trouble tattooing a fucking rose? Tattoo a fucking rose, right? But I'm at home, sitting there watching this. I would never talk to somebody like that with the intent to put them down. If we're close friends, I'm gonna bust your balls and be like, bro, are you what the fuck? Come on. You know what I mean? There's so many ways to attack this to not make it hard on yourself, but whatever. I was one of the people that was talking shit. Fucking come on, guys. Look at this shit. Fucking all that heavy criticism we get when we're at the beginning of our tattoo career. I'm just projecting, right? Just fucking spitting it out. And now they're like, what's up? Do you want to do it? And I'm like,
people are going to do that to me.
Oh shit. So I sat with it. I thought about it. And my wife was like, get the fuck out of here. Don't worry about this. I'm get out of here. Right. You better go. And so I went, and yeah, day 1, when I had to fucking put a machine together, I felt and understood exactly why those artists couldn't simply just do a rose. It's a different experience. It's a different experience. Furthermore, that moment was so fucking humbling. It was so humbling, and I realized I am no better than the man next to me. And that's always been my belief, and that's always been one of my driving forces in how I interact with people, is just seeing myself as equal. Maybe our purposes aren't the same. Maybe some of us have more ability than others, but let me make sure that we both have the same opportunity here. I like to respect that. And so, man, it was super fucking humbling. Yeah, I know how to put a machine together, but I also completely forgot because of the pressure. And that's different. I wasn't there to be famous. I wanted to know what I needed to do to become better at what I was doing. And I had outgrown my resources in my area. So why don't I go to some iconic people in this industry who know their shit to see where I'm at? Let me see if I do have what it takes to expand my career. I want a guest spot. I want to work around the Aaron Della Vedovas. I want to work around the Mike Rubendahls, and I want to experience what this culture is now today properly. And man, it worked out. The challenge to stay true to myself and not become a TV sensation, that was fucking hard. That was hard because how I handled conflict was not through banter. It wasn't through reality scenes where you're put in a pressure cooker and then it's cut and then it's like we just turn around and fucking cook and FaceTime each other's families and wake up and now we're fucking dueling again. Like the first thing we do when we wake up, like growing up, we handled conflict with our hands, and it's just like, why? Oh shit. I had to constantly remember why I was here. And bro, it's hard. It's really hard to not get sucked into just, wait, what are we doing? We're talking shit. We're cutting up. We're creating a competitive environment by telling you why you should go home. And who the fuck am I to criticize you about what you do? And so it's very easy in that setting to get so far removed from why you're tattooing. So to manage both of those experiences and to keep those in check is fucking challenging. It is so challenging. And for some people, it's not. Right. But I believe that those people where that part of it wasn't challenging, they were there for different reasons. They were there for different reasons. They wanted to be on TV. They wanted to be famous. So however it pans out is how it pans out. Right. But I tend to be mindful of what's going on. I've been in positions where I've gotten lost in the sauce, so to speak, and you just get sucked into what's happening, and it never ends well. You know what I mean? It never ends well. So just really trying to stay true to myself and who I was naturally as a person just it wasn't very fitting for what Ink Master was wanting, for that show aspect. But at the end of the day, we're there to tattoo. So I just did my best, man, to make sure that I was giving the judges what they were asking for, like the best way I could translate that, and just try to do shit clean. And it worked out, but it was hard for me. It was hard.
I could see that. I mean, knowing you as I do, you're a soft-spoken guy. You're a sensitive guy.
Very, very, very sensitive.
And as most artists are. And I don't know, I wasn't there, but I would assume that they're pushing the drama. Like, hey, he just said that about you. What are you going to say about him? They get that shit brewing, and it's not your nature to do that. No. And maybe you accidentally did a couple times and you're going to bed like, why did I do that? That's not me. Yeah. So it probably was relatively torturous on a guy like you to go through that process.
Yeah. And I just the torture and the turmoil that I was battling with, I mean, you could see it on my face when I was on stage. Man, I went back and watched that, and I remember one of my fellow artists and friends, we made eye contact and he was like, breathe. And I was just like, no, motherfucker, I am breathing. And I went back and watched, and I was so unmoved by what was happening. And I was starting to feel all the pressure. And like you were describing that big TV energy, the victorious person, right? That guy was here. He was fucking huge. And then there was like the real me. It was just like, look, this is not the end all. Right? This is just an introduction, right? So we need to get ready so we don't turn into this guy and get lost? How do we respectfully merge the two? And so I'm just trying to keep composure. And I think that comes from basketball and being coached and having respect for the environment, for your opponent, for the people attending, is to act like you won before. You know what I mean? And at times I've taken that too far to where I don't allow myself to enjoy what's happening, which is exactly what I did with this experience. But on stage, I was having that moment. I could have fucking act like I haven't won before. You know what I mean? Or keep my composure, be very, very, very grateful as I still am. And now the real work is going to continue after this. And I knew that's what was coming. It was hard. I think that those two entities are now finally, right? That was 2016 or in 2023. I think those two finally fucking shook hands, hugged it out, and it was just like, okay, what do we need to do moving forward together? You know what I mean?
It's cool.
It's been crazy.
So it doesn't end after, winning the show almost pushes that other guy, that makes that even more inflated, which is good that you won the show. That's opportunity. That's door opening. That's
absolutely
huge.
Absolutely.
So, but it also makes integration of this new character. Let's call him a character. Yeah. Anthony Michaels, the winner of the show, that's a character.
Yes.
And then who you really are, you got to figure out how to merge those, like you said, respectfully merge those two.
Yes, sir.
And you've been working on that ever since. And you said 2016, so we're talking 6-7 years ago. So 6-7 years of kind of tangling with that.
Yeah.
And you feel like, so let's go into that a little bit. So you win the show, you're stoked, you're obviously probably on cloud 9, you come home, and now it's is it haunting you? Is it helping you? Or is it just, what's that process like? What do you mean by that? Like just checking the ego at the door kind of a thing and getting back to why you're a tattooer versus being the showman and back to just being the man that's of service? Because tattooers are really, we're of service, right?
We are.
That's what we are. We're service people.
So in short, what's your question?
Well, what was that? So basically what you're saying, it was 6 years of doing that and you finally feel like you're turning the corner now.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I got that straight.
Yeah. I got lost
in that persona, or in a lot of other things probably too. But
a shit ton of other things. But just even you asking about the persona is just like, yeah, part of it. And not in a sense of like I'm above anybody, but in the sense of having to maintain that persona. I'm fucking tired, man. I stubbed my fucking toe and I let it ruin my fucking day. Why? Because I'm human. You know what I mean? I don't post every day because I'm not fucking happy every day. You know what I mean? And I don't want to have negative shit put onto other people. And so some would argue in the realm of social media, well, if you're not showing those moments, then it's not authentic. Well, true, but we don't need to also spread more negativity. So learning to show up authentically in a responsive way as opposed to a reactive way is really what I've been working on, man, because having to maintain that expectation that I set, dude, you have to be alone. You have to be alone to maintain that. It's so fucking demanding. If what you want is to maintain that victorious man and image, it's fucking lonely and it's demanding and it's fucking heavy. It's dark on top of being a family man, trying to own and run a business, trying to take care of my health, custody battles, familial stuff going on. It's been hard.
I hear a lot of things there, but one of the things I hear there is and I in my own way have gone, I think all tattooers who are successful, people that achieve some level of success, you get accolades. You get a lot of people telling you you're great, and that's nice. But I think, and the trick, and I'm not perfect at this, but the trick is to accept those compliments and those accolades without letting them become your identity, right? So, hey, Anthony Michaels, fucking winner season 7. It's like, thank you, but I am not that. That's just something I did. What I am is, making it part of your identity is the tricky part, because the problem with that is if you let it become part of your identity and which means your self-worth, your self-love, well, you also have to realize in that same moment that it's not permanent. there is a day where no one cares anymore.
Absolutely.
And so then you're living with this idea subconsciously or consciously that the thing I identify with, the thing that gives me self-respect and self-love, or at least a portion of self-love and self-respect, will go away. So then it's a clinging on, or how do you, am I getting close to what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now you're constantly chasing the maintenance of that identity.
Right.
And it's never ending. It's never
And
ending.
it's ultimately going to fail.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. And at the end of the day, as I said earlier, all we have is ourselves at the
Yeah.
end. So maintain that, because our self is the one that acquired this other attribute of the successful being in person. So keep maintaining that, right? So we can continue to be successful in many other aspects, because like we both said, that's not where my value lies and my purpose. I think it was just a conduit to stepping into broader horizons, but it isn't the defining thing. Absolutely not.
And and that would be the turn you're talking about. That's what you realize more clearly now than you did.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've lost everything. I've lost everything.
What do you mean by that?
Not intentionally. I was married, beautiful fucking marriage. A beautiful woman that I saw when I was 9 years old. I said I'm never getting married. Never getting married. My mom was like, "What the? You're fucking 9." She's laughing. She's cooking something in the kitchen. "What are you talking about?" And she turns around. I'm crying. My girlfriend at the time just had like my first kiss, right? A few days before that. And dude, incredible. It was amazing. Her mom finds out, we break up. I'm fucking devastated, right? Devastated. I'm riding bikes. I run inside, trying to get some water, trying to wipe my face. She's like, "You don't have a single clue what you're talking about. Get your ass outside and go play. Don't worry about that shit." And I'm getting ready to go outside and I'm sobbing. And she's like, "Wait a minute." She's like, what did you mean by that? What do you mean you're never going to get married? I was like, "Well, Dad, I abuse you. You're always fighting. He's never here. And you can't trust anybody. I see all the struggles. I'm not going to be that same person. And the only way it's going to happen is if we have the same birthday." Fuck does that matter? She knows why that doesn't matter. I don't. To me, it fucking makes sense. I'm 9. Because if we have the same birthday, we're the same people, essentially. So you're going to understand me. So I don't have to fucking be a certain way. We're not going to be mean to each other. We're not going to abandon each other. We're always going to support each other, right? All the opposite of all the traumas, the opposite of my life right now. Mm-hmm. And I met her.
Yeah. Same birthday.
Same fucking birthday, bro. And she's beautiful. She is beautiful. She had 4 children, business owner. She's like, where the fuck have you been? Where have you been? Why did I have to go through all this shit my whole life? Where were you when I was 9? You know what I mean? But I am an ambitious man. I'm an ambitious, but also afraid little boy. And remembering what I started in 7th grade with the download I was given, and I answered it like I was already doing it. I lived art and tattooing. And though up until the day that we physically left each other's space, my wife and I, it was a beautiful and pleasant relationship. Things had changed. I had changed. I was so focused and so committed on maintaining that victorious man, maintaining the experience of all of my supporters, right? Ensuring that day doesn't come, that there's another winner, they forgot about you, you're no more. You gotta fucking stay on your shit. Now I understand the term heavy as the crown, right? You know what? I want to take that motherfucker off. My neck hurts. Like, my neck hurts. I didn't do this for people to fall at my feet. I sincerely appreciate it. But like it's too much. I cannot do both. And I have gotten to a point to where I know that. So aside from that, and aside from it getting in the way of family and not being able to be around and being so caught up, not even setting time aside to play tag. Like, what the fuck? Now he's 14, right? The other kids are 20, 18, 15, 12. They don't play tag. They have cell phones. They got homies, boyfriends, jobs. hey man, I mean, maybe we can kick it at family dinner or something else like that. But you know, those times are over, and that trickled into business even, you know, and that is it's been hard lately. Business is great. Very fortunate to be in the position I'm in, but I've lost a lot. I'm really trying to figure out how to open this up and not be too, this is hard because I haven't settled with it yet. I've accepted it, but I'm still transitioning through.
I feel you. You know, maybe I could highlight that a little bit. So you know, it sounds like, you know, this career, your life as an artist, your persona as a winner of the show, all these things consumed you to the point where you lost balance. You weren't living a balanced life, you know, balanced life, right? Balanced life means you're sleeping. Sleep's still important. Date night's still important. Playing tag with your kids is still important. You got to give each chapter its due time, and you got a little consumed during that time period. Those other parts of your life fell apart. And now
that's what this brand, this triangle with the light burst in the middle, it's now changed to a cross. I'm not a religious person, very spiritual. And when I got this, it was a reminder to maintain balance through light and love and positivity. I was doing it until I couldn't. And I didn't even realize that I lost my ability to balance everything. 10-year marriage. We had date night every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 10 years. Up until the day that we physically parted, left each other's space in the last house we had our weekend going into that last week together. It's hard.
Well, that sounds like you were balancing a bit.
I was.
I mean, you weren't.
I was
truly the fully consumed guy with work and all that would never even have time for that. You know, was it just your energetic frequency, like just kind of, you don't know yet. You're still working this out,
dude. I was drowning. I was confused. I found I didn't know how to manage everything I had to do. Right. I lost my presence, and I'm in this place. Damn, I'm in this place where it happened again, because my family was now the business, and now I'm back. I'm in my shop. I don't know if I should say this, but honestly, I'm me, and this is my experience. I'm in my shop alone right now. Something I I was never shown. I had this part of my persona. I never viscerally felt that this would ever be a part of my story. But I became overwhelmed, and I lost my ability to remain balanced. And the business in the shop was on fire. It was on fire because I was on fire. And I was on fire through pleasing other people, as I've been on fire my whole life getting to this point, through pleasing other people and not pleasing myself. Custody battles started to kick in, right? The divorce, depression. I fell deeper into depression after losing in season 10. Fucking broke me. And I didn't own that it broke me. I thought I was so prepared to accept whatever outcome in season 10, and I wasn't prepared. When I started to notice that I needed help and I started helping myself, that was everything. And through that fire that I brought into the room and that I brought to the table, that attracted artists to me so we can all be on fire together, dude, it was dwindling. I couldn't breathe enough to get enough oxygen to keep that fire burning, right? And to keep my focus where it needed to be. There was too much shit going on for me, for me personally. At the time, I didn't know that. Why? Because I had this fear, this performance anxiety that I got to fucking maintain that crown. I got to do all the things. Motherfucker, your power is not in all the things, right? You said you wanted to be a leader. You got here by being a leader. You got here by being who you are. You're not a boss. You're not a manager of other people. You are relearning how to manage yourself and your own emotions, which are then going to change your decision making, right? Which then are going to change your patterns, which are really fucking hard to change because you have your patterns to protect yourself. And so I went in fucking overdrive of like protecting myself and didn't even realize that's what I was doing, was giving. Everybody was comfortable. Everything was great. And then when I realized I wasn't great, I didn't know how to be great, and I could no longer hide it. Right. So it got to a point to where people didn't know how I was going to feel from day to day. Right. And you'd come in, and now seeing how my energy impacts people, even when I step into a room in retrospect, it's like, fuck, man. Fuck. You did it again. You got afraid of a couple things spooked you, and you fucking just went into straight overdrive and protection mode. Right. And you forgot about your purpose, why you built this shop, why you wanted other artists to come here and to grow. Like you forgot all of that. I oversold and underdelivered. I put myself in a position that I have zero experience in. And I didn't realize that wasn't a part of my strength. I can manage and be a boss, but I if I'm going to do that, that's all I'm going to be doing. I don't want to do that. My strength lies in leadership, and I can only continue to be a leader if I'm healthy and I'm staying true to that. And if I do what I have to do, if you build it, they will come, right? But I'm not. I stopped building. I stopped building. So through building myself, I kind of went into overdrive, neglected those around me unintentionally because I had too much on my plate. Why? Because I was trying to fucking hold that crown up. Now it's not going anywhere. You whatever it is, like bro, you got it. It's fine. There's other shit we need to do. You know what I mean? There's so much more that needs to be done. And like you said something earlier about, man, let that shit go. Let it go. You don't have anybody to impress. You've been neglecting yourself, which is why you're negatively affecting those around you. And what hurts more is that it was 110% unintentional. But we have to remember, we have to consider other people's experience that they're having with us. And that's fucking hard to do. It's hard to, it really is hard to do. And maybe just for me, these past couple years, to notice other people's experience with me. You know what I mean? And so that's where you further understand projecting, and you further understand compassion again and patience. And so I've had a hard reset, man. I've had a hard fucking reset that I did not ask for. And I've learned so much. And there's people in my circle that are worried, right? Because they're just thinking, oh, business. It's all the fears again. And there's something happening, Aaron, to where I feel relieved. I don't feel worried. And I kept trying to figure out, why the fuck am I not worried about this? I have an opportunity. I'm given another chance to do this again. And I built this thing up to here. And my MO is like, fuck, I lost everything, spiral down, start at the bottom. No, man, why can't there be an option where the new bottom is here? And so that's how I'm seeing it. This is the first time I've been able to take turmoil or something so heavy and negative and see the other side of the coin. I've never in my life been able to do that. I've been in protection mode since I was 5. I've never been able to see the other side of the coin. There's no other fucking, you couldn't convince me there's another side to the coin. Fuck that. I have to design the other side of the coin, because everything that's happened to me is by my own hand. So you can't tell, no, I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to believe there's another option other than this dark, this heavy, this negative shit that I know, because that's all I experience. And the only way to get out of it is if I do something, not by you telling me, and I have to believe what you say and just trust that. Fuck that. I've never been able to trust anybody. So I'm not trusting any of you guys. No? Cool. Well, now you're alone. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to, oh shit. I lost sight. I'm human. I lost sight. I had too much fucking shit going on, and I let you guys down because I let myself down. I wasn't even holding myself to my own standards unintentionally. That sucks. That sucks. But what doesn't suck is knowing and seeing what went wrong and having the opportunity to fucking do it again and do it better.
Yeah. That's huge. There's the light at the end of the tunnel right there. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, look, man, nobody wants to hear these words when they're coming out of what you're coming out of, but it just like had to be that way. Maybe you had to go, something was going to teach you this lesson that you're learning right now. And you are paying prices, but if you didn't learn it this time around, the universe is real good at making the next one tougher. It's going to slap you hard enough eventually. So you got slapped.
Yeah.
Really hard, and you're coming to some realizations of how you were behaving and how you were affecting those around you and how you weren't, all the things you just said. But the beauty of it is you're seeing it now. I mean, that's step one, right? You got to first be able to see it and acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Really, it's kind of not easy. I mean, there's still work to be done, but the hardest part's over. Like accepting that and you know, you've got some forgiveness for yourself to do. That's always that's one tough for me. I don't like
that's weird. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I want to support that and acknowledge that. Forgiving myself. What is that? No one else can answer that for us, but I feel like there is a general way. I'm still trying to figure out, well, what does that look? How do you forgive yourself?
I could say
How do you forgive yourself?
Okay, I say this. Were you doing the best you could at that time with what you had, with the knowledge you had, with the resources you had? And generally speaking, the answer is yeah.
Absolutely.
Then what the fuck else could I have done? I was dumber. I was more ignorant. I was younger. And look, if I looked back on my mistakes and they were revolving more around lethargy, I think I personally have a bigger issue with that. Like, oh, your shit failed because you like to play video games and smoke pot.
Got you.
That would be a tough one for me personally.
Got you.
My regrets don't have anything to do with that.
Got you.
My ass is still up grinding, trying my fucking hardest, and I see the mistakes. Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
So I go to that, and I'm like, what else did I have at the time?
Okay.
So I forgive myself. I was doing the best I could. Now, I don't have any grotesque crimes to be forgiven for. I think there's acute situations that some people out there may have that you're like, how do you forgive yourself for, you know, getting in a bar fight and killing a man, like, you know, or driving drunk and running over a 10-year-old child. Like there are acute things that I don't want to speak towards because I'm not at the level where I have the experience and profession. That's not my career. I'm not a psychologist. But I want to speak more to the general, all of us out here in the real world that are just fucking up here and there. Maybe we cause a divorce. Maybe we hurt feelings. Maybe we ruin some friendships along the way. This isn't murder. We're not talking about manslaughter, but those are still things we wake up with. And so back to your question, that's how I forgive myself. I look at that and go, look, I was doing the best I could. Now I see that I could have done that different. Great. Let's do it different today. You know, that helps.
Damn. Yeah.
But it's still there. I mean, am I completely at peace with every deed of my life? Completely 100% floating on air? No.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get there, but if you can get 90% there and just kind of acknowledge it and move forward.
Yeah.
And also I say to myself, what good am I to my loved ones and the people I care about when I haven't forgiven myself? Because now what they get when I come home to dinner and sit down at the dinner table, whether I hide it or not, is a man who hasn't forgiven himself. And you know the frequency of energy you put off when you are hating on yourself? It's not fun to be around. So now the thing I can't forgive myself for is now hurting my wife and my kids and my friends today.
Coworkers.
So if you really want to help these people you claim you care about, including yourself, the first step is to love thyself, know thyself, forgive thyself, because in that state, you can be of service to a higher degree, to a higher vibration. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for them. That's some of the thoughts I've had on the subject.
I needed that reminder.
That's a big one when you come through a wake up moment, because it's beautiful. You wake up. Oh, I see what I did. And there's almost a high. You almost can get into a high there for like a month, like an upswing. Like, I figured it out. I figured the puzzle out.
Okay.
But for me, that usually settles back into, but what about the mistakes I made? Yes, I realize what I am now, what I need to do, but man, I kind of really wasn't so nice to some people around me in that moment or whatever I had done. So then the forgiveness always has to get in there, right? And that might be where you're at. We're all at it on some degree, to some degree.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like you might be there in a more acute moment now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Friendships were compromised. Feelings were hurt. It's just, it's tough. It's tough knowing that you caused that. It's tough. It's really hard knowing that I caused that, and learning to forgive myself, because I know to the depths of my soul that wasn't my intention. It's just like something has to change. Something has to change. I want something to change. And I only got here by continuing to evolve and continuing to change and learning from my mistakes. And this is something I did not fucking see coming. I did not see coming. And some would say, I was called a narcissist for the first time in my life. Brought me to tears. I fucking dry heaved a couple times. Like, it was that serious. I was at home sitting with it, and probably lost a 20-year friendship, But then realizing that was their experience, that's not the truth. And so actually believing and knowing that and trusting in the truth is what pulled me out of possibly spiraling. This was just last week that I was just like, do I just fucking throw in the towel and just really just do my own thing? Or do I not own this to be the truth? Because it's not my truth. Was it the experience? Unfortunately. Was that the intention? Motherfucker, that wasn't the intention, right? So what is the truth? That you're not this evil, hurtful, inconsiderate person. Selfish? You became selfish. Maybe didn't realize you were being selfish because your intention was to like fix yourself, step back, and let the other things handle themselves. But like, you built this, and then you just, because you were overwhelmed, fucking freaked out. That wasn't your intention. So let that go. Give it time for it to heal itself. But you can't stay there. We can't stay here. Mm-hmm. We can't stay here, because if this is where we finished, and the goal is always, right, reach enlightenment, get there, keep fucking going forward. Look, man, this bag is fucking heavy. It doesn't zip anymore. We can't put any more shit in it. And plus, the stuff in it, it's old. It's not working anymore. Set it down. Set it down. Give your peace with it. And move forward as best as you can. So I learned a lot.
We all are, man. This earth, this human incarnation, I don't obviously know what it all is. Nobody does. And anyone who tells you they do, I'd be skeptical with that person. But it does feel a little bit like a school. I'm 52 and I'm listening to people's stories, and I feel like the universe crafts. I always say universe. You could call it God. I don't care. Semantics. There's something behind the curtain, I'm convinced, that is orchestrating this thing.
Yeah.
A simulation. I don't know. Maybe we're in a pod somewhere and this is the video game we're playing. I don't know. But the thing is, definitely one consistent thing I've seen is each person gets set up with a set of circumstances that seems to push them into a position to learn, to push them to a place to give them the opportunity to learn the thing that they specifically need to learn.
Okay.
And you got shoved into a place that it gave you a lesson that you, Anthony Michaels, need to learn. I've been shoved into corners and on retrospect been like, oh, yeah, that was really uncomfortable. But it's been 3 years, and I never would have grown to what I am now if that painful thing didn't happen.
Okay.
It had to fucking happen.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to read a book and figure it out. I'd read most of the books and I hadn't figured it out. Mm-hmm. So that life circumstance arises, and I had to wrestle with that. And in that wrestling of that moment, I learned it finally. And then you want to think, I'm done. Life's going to be chill. And it might be for a few months or half a year. I've had some chill years where I'm like, that year was pretty chill.
Yeah.
But eventually the master upstairs is like, okay, he's had enough of recess. What's his next thing? Where is he at now? He needs, and then boom, it throws in this next level of learning. So, So in that way, I think we can find more acceptance for these struggles, knowing that this is just the way it works. No one gets out of here without them, dude.
Okay,
You stop a stranger on the street.
Yeah.
And if they're honest enough with you, say, what's your challenge right now? If they were really to be raw, they would give you a list. It'd be different than your list.
Yeah.
But it'd be custom built for where
them.
they're at.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, in that way, you can kind of get to a place of gratitude.
Yes.
You start thanking the pain. You start appreciating it. And you can even train your mind to get dopamine rushes from struggle. When you start understanding the struggle is the gift.
It's now fuel.
I read some, because we develop a brain in our modern culture of dopamine only comes from pleasure rewards.
Right.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, our phones, whatever.
Yeah.
No, man, the real masters get dopamine
around the clock,
grinding on a project and suffering, or going to knowing they've got to go to therapy on Monday with their ex or whatever. Like, whoa, this is exciting.
Yeah.
What are you excited about? I get to go to therapy and unwind trauma.
Yeah.
You're excited about that? Yeah, I am.
Yeah, think about it. I get to fucking figure this out and let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be excited about it? You should be. And what is it in you that resists doing it? So those are the real questions. Like, well, because to go to therapy is to talk about the things I regret and I've done wrong. Okay. And then what? Well, to be wrong means I failed. Okay. You failed. So who hasn't in their life? Then what? What's behind you being what's wrong with failing? Well, because failing means no one will love me. Oh, now we're getting closer. But would you agree that people are loved everywhere in the world who have failed? Yes. So wouldn't it be fair to say that as someone who has failed, you can still be lovable and find love? Yes. Well, then what's behind that? I guess there isn't a problem here. Yeah.
So stop making one.
It's just some uncomfortable shit you got to do. So get comfortable being uncomfortable here on earth, man. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh,
it's an uncomfortable place to be.
Yeah, it should be called uncomfortable, not Earth. Uncomfortable. It's planet uncomfortable.
Yeah, but if you get deeper with that, being uncomfortable isn't as bad as we make it out to be.
It's not. Which is, as I was saying that, right? It sounds like, oh fuck, planet uncomfortable. It's not. It's actually an opportunity. It really is an opportunity, because through that discomfort, through the failures, is the answers. Those are the answers to the fucking test. So then just bring these answers to the next test, right? As much as you can. Obviously bring the correct answers over to the next test, man, because like you said, we're going to get another one.
And it's going to be more difficult than the last one. So you're going to need to know, you got to get through this one and bring those lessons with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And gosh, we're deeply getting. I like this though. This is better. We could talk about what kind of machines do you use? Fuck all that.
No, yeah.
But no, I don't think there's a human being out there who listens to this show who isn't. We're all going through this, man, in different ways. You know, especially the idea of what you talked about. Like a lot of people have on the show are quote unquote successful. You know, and I love talking to successful people. One, I like to learn. I like to be around those type of people. But it's also to hear the real what success really can mean, you know. And for you, getting consumed to some degree in that success, forgetting about your true nature, your authenticity, neglecting situations, and things fall apart. But one thing I would add to that I would say is when we go through this type of event and we do turn a corner, and I always use the word vibrate at a higher frequency. So you come up a notch. You're not who you were a year ago anymore. You're clear on that. You've forgiven it mostly. You've accepted it mostly. When you do that, people and things fall away that don't match that vibration. You've accumulated a world around you that always will, in some relative way, match the vibration you're at. I could give more practical examples. When I first opened my tattoo shop, Guru Tattoo, now this year, be our 20-year anniversary.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you.
Fuck.
Yeah, went by quick, dude. But I came out of some apprenticeships that were violent. The people were criminals. They were just scary, mean. I shouldn't say that. They were broken people who had been through more than I'd been through, and they were trying to figure shit out. But it was a new world to me. I come from like middle class America, you know, white bread, suburban, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly I'm in these shops with dudes that are like, put that gun in your pocket and get in the car. I've got to go pick something up.
Yeah.
You know, stay here, come in shooting if I don't come out in 10 minutes. What the fuck, man? I just want to learn a tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up, I just want to draw. But that was the only way to get an apprenticeship, at least the only ones I found.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was with me. I hadn't really made peace with what had happened in those years. I just went like you, like full steam ahead. Fuck, whatever, who cares? Next thing I know, I'm in my new shop, Guru Tattoo, who I'm trying to establish I'm into Buddhism. I name it Guru Tattoo. I want to attract that, which I do to some degree. But there's other little, people and characters coming through the shop, and some violent activities had occurred, and nothing gnarly, nothing the police need to worry about, but just stuff, minor level stuff. And I remember just thinking, why is this here again? Like, how do I moved to a different town. I opened my own place. I'm deciding who works here. But as time went on, I slowly realized I hadn't processed, accepted, forgiven my past. I hadn't dealt with it. So I started dealing with it. And I had a breakthrough like you're having. And as soon as I really established myself in this new vibration, this new healthier place, employees left, friends, I don't know what happened with your friend you're talking about, but I know for a fact I have some friends out there. If you ask them about me, they would tell you I'm selfish and into myself because I wasn't taking the time to be a part of what they're into anymore. So they're going to label me that, which is fine. I accept that. But a world fell away, and I found myself feeling unstable again. Like, what happened to this thing I created? It's falling apart around me. But what's really happening is it's falling away, and then right behind it, new characters and new situations and new circumstances filled back in that did match me. So your world will always match you.
Okay.
But the transitional period is a scary one because, relationships fall away. Businesses can fall away. Fucking where you live could change. Things will change when you expand. Is something. I think I say that to you, but I want everyone to hear that. I'm not the preacher. I'm not the guru, but that happened to me. It's happened to me. I've had 3 distinctive cycles of that in my tattoo career where I learned and grew and expanded, and right weeks afterwards, shit fell away. People can't work here anymore. They got to go somewhere else. Why? What did I do wrong? I'm a better man. Why? And then right behind, and then give it a month or 2, right behind him's this new character. It's like, oh, this is better. So
that is the other side of the coin again. Instead of looking at it like, fuck, man, I fucking failed. Like I'm expanding. I'm expanding and I'm changing. So things around me are changing. There is absolutely the option to look at whatever the situation is differently. Damn.
Yeah. And again, that's a confusing thing about growth is because when we grow, things die around us, or die is maybe a heavy word, but go away.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So then your growth doesn't feel like growth. You're like, what the fuck? I just expanded and half my shop quit because they can't be around you. If you got a guy that likes to get drunk on the weekends and get in fist fights at bars, and maybe I've been there when he's done it a few times. Now I'm not that guy, but maybe I was at the bar. And maybe I didn't intervene. So I'm kind of part of this, Yeah. And then I elevate. I start, going to yoga 5 days a week. I'm not at the bar with this guy anymore. And he's at work, and that bond that was sort of there isn't there. And, a month goes by and he's like, yeah, man, I think this place sucks. I'm not digging it here anymore. And maybe even points out some irrelevant things that I did or said, like, well, that's why it's because that person can't say to you, you've changed. And you are doing things I'm not interested in. And honestly, being around you shines a light on who I am that I can't bear. If you're hanging out with a friend and you guys go drinking every night, then you start going to yoga every day. You don't go drinking anymore. You're up at 5 a.m. doing yoga, whatever. That friend is going to find you annoying because you represent the thing he secretly think, in his mind, he's like, I should probably be doing that too. And I'm still at the bar.
Gotcha.
So instead of being that honest and saying, dude, it's just hard to be your friend because you're living such a healthy life and I'm not there right now, they'll say things like, what happened to you, man? You're like kind of like all about you now.
Selfish.
Yeah. And it's like, well, that's your experience of what's happening.
Damn.
But that ain't the truth of what's happening.
Fuck. Ah. I'm just, oh man. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I can't believe I'm saying I am grateful to be having the experiences that I'm having, even though they're hard and they're heavy and they seem like the end of the world. And to some people they are. Like, I've been there. To me, it was the end of the world. The divorce, the custody battles, the familial stuff, right? The business changes. It was just like, fuck, just beating myself up instead of seeing like it's time to grow. And this is how we're going to grow. This is how we're going to get back on track.
And to back you up, it is the end of a world. It is the end of the world. It's the end of that world you created.
Sir.
But you're going to create a new world now. So that's why it feels that way. Because a world is ending. A world in which you were a character that acted a certain way, but you're changing. That ecosystem can't exist with you in it anymore.
Yeah.
It won't thrive anymore because you're not bringing the same energy to it.
Yeah. And that's okay.
So it's going to die.
Yeah.
And so, but you're right. You don't go you don't climb yourself to level 10, change and grow. You don't go back to 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might take 2 steps back to go 8 steps forward.
Yes.
And you might be in the 2 steps back moment.
Yes.
That's uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable.
But there's a big leap in front of you if you stick with it and stay with these realizations. Find that forgiveness, find that self-worth, find that self-love.
Yes.
Make your apologies. Call those people. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
I was a different dude back then. I've learned a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
People are, man, if you're authentic with your apologies, man, humans are so forgiving.
Yeah.
If you mean it.
Yeah.
You can't give them the bullshit.
Always. My intent, again, my intention is in alignment with my purpose. The actions need to be back in alignment with my intentions. So everything can continue moving forward. But now I see those actions, and it's an easy fix.
It is. Just now it's just the doing of it.
Exactly.
The seeing it was the hard part.
Yes.
You're through that part.
Yeah.
Now just get up. You know what you got to do.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Damn, dude.
That's cool. Well, let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Let me ask you a little bit about, we're talking a lot about tattooing. We're tattoo artists. We're in the game. What do you think about tattooing? What do you see? How do you see the tattoo landscape in 10 years? And I don't mean like financially or anything like that. I mean, like, I guess I'll even throw it in there with all the digital ways to create. AI is a big one. Social media would have to be accounted for in this 10-year forecast. It's changed the landscape so very much, and it isn't going to stop. These are just some of the big things I think and forces at work right now in our craft that are going to have a powerful effect. You might have others that you're thinking about. Those are the ones I'm thinking about. Already, I was 31 years ago to today. I'm like, where the fuck alien world am I in? I mean, in the end, when I touch a person and I put a needle to skin, it's the same. That has not changed at all. That will, I don't think, ever change. So I guess more I'm talking about, I hate to use it, but the word, our industry, has changed a lot.
Big time.
And with all those factors at play, I don't know, you have any ideas around that?
The first immediate thing that came to my gut is community. I think there is going to be, I feel like maybe even factions, if you will, within the industry itself. I feel with the rate of everything and where it's going, it's further removing us from that last part that you said. There's always going to be that connection, that human to human connection, right? When we put that needle to the skin and our other hand is stretching and we're making eye contact and we're listening, we're crying, we're laughing, a fucking robot, a machine, or some easier way of faster way of instant gratification can never fucking replace that. So I don't know what about this download I'm getting is where and how it fits in, but shit is getting way, it's too just like off the shelf. Fucking hop on the internet, hop on an AI, build your fucking design, send it to the 3D printer, lick it and stick it.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting further and further and further removed from why we started tattooing in the first place. And now everybody wants to tattoo, feel like for money and to be a part of the wave, and not even realizing that we're not even fucking controlling the wave. Some like money is, and we're just like, okay, fuck it, right? And try to keep up with the Joneses and come up with your own different machine that does this and your own fucking groupings and your own program that does something else for us that we're not doing for ourselves. So we're no longer nurturing ourselves. We're just fucking plugging in. We're plugging in. And it's going fast. But I sincerely believe and feel that there's gonna be a point to where all of these pieces that are being implemented are not gonna work. So I don't know personally. I haven't really sat with it because I have a tendency, as you all can probably tell, to overthink and go down that rabbit hole. And if there isn't a rabbit hole, I'll fucking make one. And being where I'm at, getting lost in the fucking sauce, right? I'm stepping back and maintaining that human to human experience, because that is the core of tattooing. It isn't this new pen. It isn't this new configuration. It isn't this new cartridge system. It isn't this fucking new social media. Like, I almost don't even recognize it. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Like how even you started tattooing and how I started tattooing, we're so far removed from that. Like, look, you can talk to these fucking computers, drum up an image because you were, I don't know, running late, fucking airdrop it to the printer and literally take that print and stick it on the skin. Mm-hmm. Fucking have to do anything. Mm. So if I don't have to do that, we're going to start finding ways of where we don't really have to connect. Right. And then there's this idea of it like, well, put a robot there. And so now this robot, which will probably do immaculate fucking tattoos in a fraction of the time, maybe. Right. But there's no human connection. There's no energy in that. You're prompting something on what to do, and it's going to do exactly that because it's the only thing it knows how to do. It doesn't know how to hold space. It doesn't know how to actually connect with you and pull your story and your vision out. Right? You have to type it in and tell it what to do. Like, that's not that. As far as the essence of tattooing, I'm not talking about the productivity. I'm not talking about the possibility and all of that shit. I'm talking about the essence of tattooing. That can never be replaced. So I don't believe that the core of tattooing is going to be like phased out by just because of like technology and money. I don't think it's healthy. If it's possible, I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's healthy. And the industry right now, we're not about each other anymore. You know what I mean? And that's scary. It is scary. So I don't know, man. I haven't given it much thought. How do you feel?
I mean, one of the reasons I ask people like you that question is because I'm still gathering intel, basically, because I'm confused by it as well. Like, straight up. I mean, on one hand, as a 30-ish 1-year tattoo artist, I am not super worried about it because I just know that as fast as it's changing, how I tattoo and what I do and how I interact with my clients, I'm going to probably be able to ride that till I'm done. And I don't want to tell people keep writing me on the show like, you keep talking about being done, dude. Should I book that piece? I'm like, guy, I'm at least 5 years out. 10 years from now, if you want something from me, I would get on it. I'm not going to talk about me at 62.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But so I don't think it really applies to me personally. But I do think about the younger artists that are coming in, and I'm like, man, dude, like, you know, like a 3-year tattooer, I'm like, you've got 20 plus years of a career ahead of you.
Yeah.
I want to be able to help them by saying, this is what I think is coming, and this is why I think you should position yourself in this way. But I really don't know what to say to them quite yet, other than I keep driving home what I found to be the most important part of my career, which was that human connection, like really trying to hold space, be with people. And in doing so, I think the creations, the art that I've come up with, I've had many times where a client, many times where a client, I listen, I hold space, I go home, I sit, I think about them, I go to bed, I'm thinking about that person. I wake up, I have an idea, I draw it, I show them the idea, and they're like, how did you know to put that type of thing in there? That's my grandfather, that looks just like my grandfather's tree in his backyard or something like that. And I'm like, I didn't know. That's what popped into my head. Well, I believe that popped into my head because I'm holding space for this human spirit.
You're connected.
I'm connecting, right? And so magic flows out of that. And then there's a bond, right, between me and the client. Like there's a magic happening between me and them, which I can then further give them love and support through the process when they're in pain, when they're scared.
Yes.
I can connect at a level that helps them feel safe and secure.
Yes.
So a lot of other things come out of that makes their experience really, really special. And I think the after effect of that is a memory where they look at that tattoo and they just smile because it makes them feel warm. Like looking at a picture of grandma on the wall. Like you just, grandma, she's gone now, but boy, she was such, that feeling. So I just tell the young people, like, really try to do that. Now, if you want to use these tools that are out there, modern machines, modern groupings, modern, even AI, I'm sort of like 50-50 with it. Like fine, I guess. Like do a rough sketch for your client, run it through a generator, see what it spits back at you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take some of that, manipulate it, change it. As long as you're fusing with it, so it's man and machine doing a dance together,
yes.
and you're being with it.
That's
opposed
healthy.
to
Yes.
what you said, which is like running late for an appointment. Person would a Buddha and bird, black and gray. Black. What do you think of that, bud? Oh, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Sit down. Boom. Go. That I would not. I mean, all you people out there can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
you people
sure.
collecting, collect from whoever you want.
Sure.
My advice would be to not do that. I think you'd be robbing yourself of the most beautiful part of this career I've had, which is what makes me happy about it now. You would be missing out on that.
Absolutely.
And I think the clients underneath your needle, whether they know it or not, are missing something.
Absolutely, because they came to us specifically because of who we are, which is right. I have my artist. I trust you. I love you. I'm coming to you with this. They want us. They need that connection just as much as tattooing needs that connection for it to be tattooing. And I'm so glad I wanted to do some cool ass shit and use the word magic earlier when you asked me, hey, what do you see? I wanted this soundbite of just like, we can't lose the magic, and then fucking tip my coffee back, but the coffee's empty. And then I got in my head about using the word magic. I'm so fucking glad you said it, because we can't lose the magic of tattooing, of one person tattooing another person, and guiding them through the endurance of pain and emotion and discomfort and struggle to be joyous and happier and healed after that. Like that, we can't lose the magic. We can't lose the magic.
Yeah.
We can't.
I think that magic will always be present. It'll just be a matter of who wants it to be a big part of their career, and those collectors out there who recognize the importance of it and find it.
Yeah.
But I do think, because I've had other artists in here that they're like, oh, it'll never work. No one's going to want an AI generated piece of artwork. And I'm like, you're wrong.
That's all that's out there right now.
People don't care as much as you think. If they were to have been tattooed by me or you for a long period of time, they might go to a different artist who was coming from that perspective and sense the difference. Mm-hmm. But if you're just brand new to it, and you're just like, first tattoo, went to a shop, guy showed me a sick piece of art, there it is on my arm. They probably don't know that there was a little special bit of magic that didn't happen that day for them, you know? So I don't think people are going to not do it.
Yeah.
They are currently doing, they are going to do it. So,
Sure.
Yeah, I think in the end, we can only do, that's that rabbit hole of worrying about the world when really, what good is that, right? I can't control what everyone else is going to do.
Sure.
I can only control my little sphere of influence, my own personal, who I am, and then who I kind of influence nearby me. And I'll just do that. And what happens is what happens.
Yeah.
So it's become less of a fear for me and more of just curious subject.
Sure.
It's interesting.
Sure.
And I proposed it in a relationship to tattoo, but really the question is, it's a phenomenon that's affecting everyone. I mean, everything we just said could be applied to most other careers. Like, how is this going to enter into what you do?
Exactly.
And, and I think the whole world's wondering this right now.
Yeah.
I mean, very much. And I think it's creating a lot of apprehension and a lot of anxiety.
Absolutely.
We don't like unknowns as humans, know. And for hundreds of years, life was kind of known. It might have been rough, but you knew. You kind of knew that you had to plant corn, and you kind of knew if it didn't rain, it was going to be a hard year.
Yeah.
You kind of knew your kids were going to do it after you died.
Yeah.
You kind of knew how to do it because your grandpa taught you.
Yeah.
And now I don't have any idea what next year looks like.
Yeah.
That's a weird
but these things are figuring it out for us, right?
Yeah, and we ain't stopping it. It's not going to go away, right? I think it's got to be some kind of merging. And I think that intuitively, I just think that the future is something where the human spirit merges with technology, and the two dance together in a way that creates new types of magic. And to look at technology as artificial is odd because we created it. So it's natural. I'm natural. We humans are natural. Humans built AI. Therefore, AI's natural. Everything so I think it's new to a degree that we don't know how to acknowledge it and bring it into our souls yet. You know? And do I think it can do mass destruction? Fuck yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
But it could also, anything that can, just like a nuclear bomb, you can drop it on a city, or you can power a city with it. AI, I think, is same
thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And it'll probably do both. It's probably already doing both. Actually, I know it is. It's already doing evil shit.
Yes.
But it's probably doing a lot. It's probably solving some cures for cancer as we speak.
Absolutely.
So we will see.
Man, dude, that's fucking heavy. But again, right? If we focus on that too heavy and get lost and create that anxiety about what is not present, we can't even, we won't even be in a position to merge with it. We won't even be in a position to know how to use it for good. You know what I mean? Because we're just falling in line. If you just fall in line, you're just gonna keep getting lost. You gotta stay true to ourselves and our purpose.
I think from a really more just straight up practical way, artist to artist, if you're out there using AI in some way creatively, and obviously most of us are already drawing on Procreate and stuff like that, but that doesn't count to me. That's what's the difference between an iPad and I have a pencil in my hand on an iPad, or a piece of paper and a pencil. I'm still drawing.
Yeah.
AI is different because it's actually generating novel ideas that didn't come out of your brain. You prompted it and it spit something out. So, hey, if you're out there doing that, I would just say, merge with it. Like, don't take it raw right out of the generator. Like, pull it out of there, tweak it, change it, fuse it, manipulate it. Like, allow your art and creativity to become part of that, of that magic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's, and in some, I haven't gotten deep into the AI thing a little bit. I just did a piece for Sullen. Shout out to Sullen Clothing, by the way, my sponsor, one of my sponsors here on the show.
Beautiful.
And I did a t-shirt for them. It was a cool t-shirt design. Anyway, I was like, that's a pretty cool design. So I took the sketch and I ran it through this other AI thing a friend showed me. He goes, you can put sketches into it and it'll turn it into final art. It'll take a sketch and turn it into some final. And you can keep clicking. It'll add anime to it. I want it to be antique looking. And so I went, I did about 10 of them.
Okay.
And a lot of it was really ugly and clunky. And like, click, click, click. And then one of them, it was still clunky and ugly, but it had a few things happening that I was like, that's weird. That's different. I pulled that image into my Procreate. Okay. And I mean, I must have spent 30, 40 hours manipulating. So
you kept
I didn't just get in there and change like 3 things. I drew on top of it. I tweaked colors. I smeared and blended. And at the end of it all, it's a piece of art I created, but it was inspired and it looks a little different than things I've done in the past. Because of the influence of the novel idea that the AI generator produced.
Yes, sir.
And so I struggled with it. Like, I should be ashamed of myself. I should be proud of myself.
Yeah.
I shouldn't tell anyone about this.
Yeah.
What if they find out?
Yeah.
But,
Like, oh, I'm fucking cheating on my artwork and doing this. It's like, no, man, hold on. No, then if you feel like you're cheating, then don't fucking cheat. Continue implementing yourself into, like you said, like integrate
Right.
with it. Don't just fall on the fucking crutch, right? Sit on the couch, set the crutch down, and do your fucking therapy, you know, so you can use the crutch less and less. Like that, fucking beautiful. That's exactly how I use it in times when I need to use it, just to keep, you know, the artist block, right? And sometimes you need a little push, and AI absolutely makes that easier. But to just use it outright and no longer implement ourselves, that's the word. I think that's the worst thing to do.
And I think you're going to get fucked on that one, because if you're one of those artists that never learned how to put his own creativity into the work, you're going to be thrust into a pool of other guys who never did. And your voice is going to be hard to find in there.
Man.
You know?
Man.
I think you might be very productive now, but that could be a trap that could burn you later, you know?
Sure.
Cool, man. Well, dude, I don't know. I don't know. That was fun talking to you about, especially your journey of coming up, kind of really succeeding at this very high level, carrying that, what that meant for you, what it did for you in good ways, what it sort of did for you in bad ways, you seeing it, wrecking. That story could be we're talking about a tattoo artist career, but everyone out there in some career can relate to some degree. You know, any winner, I don't care if you're the best Geico insurance agent, it could happen to him walking into the office like, I won last year's top sales award, motherfuckers. You know, so that's why I'm working 80 hours a week now, because I got to win it next year. And meanwhile, the wife's at home like, isn't that enough, sweetie? No. I've won. I have to now always win. I can't not, So that story is very relatable
across
to
the board. Absolutely. In life. Yeah, man. Don't lose you. At the end of the day, when you take the crown off, right? It's still you. Do not lose who you are. Stay true to yourself. And if you don't know what your truth is, it's okay to figure it out. It's okay to figure it out. We're going to continue to have to figure it out as we progress. Anyway, so man, don't lose yourself. Please.
Well, wise words, my friend. Wise words. Well, I don't know. I kind of, what's next for you? Do you even know? Is it more of a gestation period where things aren't being born yet? Or
I have a tendency, and my hands are up because I want to be present. Again, I want the universe to give me what is for me, and I want to be present enough to see that and to take it in and to then apply it as I move forward. I have a tendency to get way ahead of myself because I'm ambitious. I see what I need to do. I see what I want to do. And my problem is I try to do it all at once. I try to eat the elephant whole instead of one bite at a time. I try to do it alone. I try to do it without help because of trust issues, because this, blah, 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 blah. This is where I'm at. I want no problems. I come in peace. My intentions are always, always, always good and from light and with love. And I want to move forward with those intentions and in my purpose and with what I have. I don't want to try to be something I'm not. To put it simply, trying to upkeep others' expectations of me. That's where I got lost, and that's where I then became inefficient in my leadership and in my inspiration of others, which is my purpose. So be able to get back to that one fucking day at a time for me right now. Because what's next is fucking huge. There's a lot that is being worked on and being restructured, and the only way it's going to work is if I'm working. And I haven't been. The system hasn't been functioning properly the past couple of years, and I know that, and I know why. So one day at a time. One day at a time for me right now.
Hey, man, I think you're right on track. I can feel that.
Thank you.
I think you're right on track. And one thing I've learned is when you pray like that, I'll call it prayer. I'm not even a Christian. I still call that prayer.
Yeah.
That's a prayer.
Yeah.
When you pray like that with that level of earnest and authenticity and truth, I mean, I've had moments, a few, I say little prayers like, hey, buddy, could you help me out here?
Yeah.
But when you get to that raw moment where you really ask for help and you ask for guidance, man, it always shows up.
Yeah.
Doors
Yeah.
open, phones ring, weird people start calling like, I didn't expect this phone call.
Yeah.
And you sense it. You're like, maybe that's okay. I'm listening, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you're allowing yourself to be guided a little bit more than trying to be the
Yeah.
captain of the ship.
Yeah. I don't want to be captain, man. I can be.
Yeah.
When I need to be. Like,
right.
other than that, man, I'm in the trenches with you guys, right? I make fucking mistakes all the time. But I want to do right. I want to do good.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I have to first do that within myself. I have to, like you said, right? Give forgiveness, self-forgiveness, self-love, grace, right? I want to do things right. And yeah, I'm owning and admitting that I need and want help. Period. I now know what I'm good at. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I just want to get better, man. Because there's a lot to do still. There's a lot to do still.
Yeah, it will happen, my friend.
Yeah.
Hearing those words out of you,
brother.
I have no doubt.
Thank you,
no
man.
doubt.
Thank you, brother.
And I can't wait to see what that is.
Thank you, man.
Where can people find you currently?
Tucson, Arizona is where home base is. I venture out a lot, guest spots, conventions. All of that is pretty heavy right now. I have a lot of mobility, being that personal life is much more flexible now. You can find me on Instagram, Ant Mikes, very simple, no underscores or anything. Google always, right? I try to make sure that everything is public and accessible. That's pretty much it. You know, I try to keep things very simple, accessible. I may not always be available, but absolutely accessible. So Tucson, Arizona, Instagram is really like the biggest, hottest thing right now.
So people want a tattoo from you, they can just DM you?
Good question. Guys, and gals, I am horrible. Horrible at the response on DMs through social media. antmikesbooking@gmail.com is the best way and only way to get a hold of me.
What would someone expect on a timeline for that? Like if they want to get tattooed by you, roughly?
Sure. So moving forward, I'm going to be booking a few months at a time now, right? To ensure, most importantly, the quality of the experience and the quality of the work, but also to streamline the consistency in getting projects done. Those that are very serious and intentional are going to get in much faster. So when emailing, they can expect to get a response within 24 hours. And periodically, I will be sharing when those windows to book are available. So pay attention to the Instagram. There's also a shop Instagram, 2512, with an underscore between each word. All information about booking will be posted on there in the bio. Email links are on both those pages, Ant Mikes and 2512. And then, turn those post notifications on so you don't miss information, because algorithms and shit is crazy right now. I just turn this shit on. All right. So you guys know, because I'm not going to call you and remind you. I have things to do. That's pretty much it, man.
Well, my friend, today was amazing. I really want to thank you for just being here. I love how you were in town. You hit me up. We had a slot today.
Yeah.
The universe just talk about
Yes, sir.
showing up for us.
Yes,
Showed
sir.
up for us today.
Yes, sir.
But more than that, I think what I really appreciate about us today was your just raw authenticity, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's hard to get out of people. People wear their masks. People don't want to show that soft underbelly, you know. And the fact you're even willing to do it, especially here on a show like this, tells me you're in it and you're ready for that big change, or to have the courage to do that.
I am, man.
I respect that.
I'm emotional. Thank you, brother. I'm soft. I'm all that shit, man. I'm a real person, you know, and I have the same struggles that everyone else has. And I want to do good. I want people to succeed, and I want to clean my shit up so I can be a part of their success, because all of us need help. And I've needed help my whole life, right? And now being in a position I can help others, let me get my act together so I can efficiently lead those who need and want help. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
You can only give others what you have. So,
yes,
Yeah.
damn.
yeah.
Yes, you can only give others what you have.
Yeah. So if you want to love other people, you got to love yourself.
Damn.
And then on down the line, all the other emotions would stem
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
Love's the core emotion.
Love,
All
baby.
the other good stuff just comes out of that.
Yes,
you know?
sir. Thank
Well,
you, man.
A big high
Thank you,
five,
brother.
my friend. Oh, that
Thank
was
you,
cool.
brother.
That was
Fuck,
cool.
man.
I know this isn't the end. I'll be seeing you around. I don't
Absolutely.
know when, doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
But I know this isn't the end, but thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Thank you to everybody who watched this episode. All you that have been writing me too, man. I need it. Like I want to make sure that I'm doing something that is people are digging that, especially the messages like, man, the guest today really changed my perspective on things. I am not doing the show so much from a true entertainment perspective. I could have crazy sex workers on here and we could do the Howard Stern thing. I was really more interested in having people on that could bring ideas to the table that might change your viewpoint or help you in some way. And I've been getting a lot of DMs and a lot of private messages about that happening. Keep them coming. And also, if you have people that you think would be good for the show, hit me up for that. I also want to thank Sullen Clothing, one of our sponsors, for really being there for me in the early part of the show when I needed the help a lot. They stepped in. Ryan, Jeremy, thank you so much. And if you guys are out there and you love tattoo art, which I know a lot of you do, that's why you're watching this show, go to their website, dude. They have the dopest art on clothing and hats and shirts and hoodies and all that you will find. I mean, really the top people in the world all do art for that company. And shit is
Fire.
every year fire, dude.
Fire.
It's so dope. And if you're an artist, then I believe it's design at sullenclothing.com. Fire something over to them. You got some designs you think are hot and rad, send it over. They'd love to have a look. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.